Monday Night Football, baby. We're here.
Touchdown in 46 seconds. Punches back. Touchdown.
Run Pure Sports back with the UFC 328. Chimaev versus Strickland. Also another 5-rounder. Probably the better one when it comes to entertainment standpoint, does it not? With Van and Tyra for the flyweight belt. But this is a fun card. I've been looking to try to give it a name. It's a like once in a lifetime for like fantasy. I love this card, man. This card is fantastic, top to bottom, with talent, old timers, guys looking to put on 50 to 100K performance bonuses, and some enhancement talent, which makes life even better when there's enhancement talent.
Oh yeah, this is definitely one of those cards. I'm hoping it lives up to it because I've got very high expectations for this card here. I think we've got a lot of really good fights, got a lot of really good fighters on this card. You know, and then obviously there are always a couple of fights where it's very one-sided, but it's still overall top to bottom a great card here, and really good slate for DFS. It's very interesting with the 2 5-rounders and you know, the rest of the fights here, the way they priced everything out. So we'll get into it. There's definitely going to be some dogs. I mean, there's some big favorites you're going to probably want in your lineups, but that also means you're going to probably have to take some shots on some gross dogs in DFS to make it work. So hopefully we can give the people at least you know, some guys that have maybe a shot towards the bottom.
Yeah, and I mean, they obviously got the 200K up to first place on DraftKings for $25. You're probably gonna have to get at least one single-digit ownership guy. Like, I can't imagine that there's going to be a situation where, or at least closer to single digit, right? Like, maybe not you're attacking the top 3 guys, but something that's really unique to get up to the top. Maybe a middle range build, who knows? But I mean, there. Have you ever seen a slate that comes down to one play? Chimaev, the record-setting performance last.
Marab.
Oh yeah, but I mean, Marab.
It's the same thing.
It is. But I mean,
it's the exact same thing. Hamza is like Marab, but bigger, obviously. And for DFS purposes, they're very similar.
Yeah, no, for sure. Last week, you know, was the 4 a.m. card? What was it? It was 2 a.m., something like that.
It was
How
something
did
like
things
that.
go for you? I mean, it wasn't good for me. I'm sick of these changing it up, like these curveballs at us, because I'm not a morning guy, as you can see, as always. But I mean, I feel like these travel is starting to be an issue with some of these fighters when they're doing these types of things.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it is. I mean, travel's tough on anybody, right? Like just an ordinary person. Now you got to go travel and fight. Like that's got to be very hard, especially for guys that are traveling to places that are a little unfamiliar, right? They're just not as comfortable. Maybe a time change, all that stuff throws you off. So all the little stuff definitely can throw a fighter off for sure. So, but I mean, they don't do it very often, Mike. So they you know, obviously they want to be you know, all over the world. They want to be you know, a sport where people watch it, which people do. So it's like once in a while they got to throw them a bone. So I get it.
Yep. One thing before we jump right in, because we got to get through all of this. Pratis, you and I were all over. I think by the end of that thing, we're like, Pratis. We didn't fall for the Jack Della trap. And I said on this podcast, Steve Erceg was going to win that fight. Tim Elliott was the first guy this year. Remember, we've seen all that money movement. It just was all Tim Elliott through the whole entire week. I just said this is the one, finally, where the cookie crumbles, man. And Steve Erceg gets the job done there. But yeah, they're trying to build people. You can tell. Like, you got the Perisic and Rahiki, right? Those guys are on the main card. So they're trying to build people up to, I guess you'd kind of point to Atiba, who's now going to be like is he on the main card? I think he's on the main card, man. I think he's opening it up, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, I mean, let's see what we can do here. We start the night off here. Oh, let's see everybody in chat already, man. Jacob, Christian, Andy, everybody's in here. K-Fowl's in here. Fresh and swole. Thank you guys for tuning in nice and early. Get that coffee in. I need it. I certainly need it. Let's start the night off. Jose Ochoa versus Clayton Carpenter. We have on DraftKings Sportsbook, Jose Ochoa, a -180 favorite. The striker, the volume striker, Clayton Carpenter, come back a +150. There's a lot of fights on this slate that I'm hemming and hawing. I'm like looking at it as a grappler versus striker. And I don't necessarily look at it as Carpenter being a bona fide grappler, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's mixing in those takedowns, because it seems like Ochoa has been taken down a significant amount of times through his fights. He just has a ton of volume that can win him rounds based on his striking when he's getting taken down. I kind of like this fight as a sleeper. I don't think people are going to go here on this particular slate. Do you have any extreme ways you like to approach this one? Because I think it probably could be a good finish in this fight. That's the thing for me. And I'm looking for finishes. Unless your name is Chimaev, it's going to hold you down for 5 rounds potentially. Yeah, definitely a lower owned fight, I can imagine.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna peel back the curtain here a little bit, but I do like this fight. I think it is a solid fight. I am on the favorite, Jose Ochoa. I think that he has the opportunity in this fight to maybe find a finish here. If we just go back and start looking at who these fighters have fought, I mean, Jose Ochoa comes into the UFC and he gets Loner Kavanagh as his first fight. That's a tough draw right there. Okay. So he loses a decision to Kavanagh. Are we really scoffing at that? Probably not. After what Kavanagh just did on short notice, I think we're all like, okay, Kavanagh's real. Loses there, then beats Cody Durden, knocks him out. And Cody looked really good as a short notice long shot dog last fight. So we know Cody Durden's a tough dude. And then loses to Asu. I think the Asu style is definitely the style that gives him the most problems. A lot of times, though, because he has good grappling, so he'll get stuck trying to play jiu-jitsu, sometimes off of his back, and that's going to hurt you against a guy like Asu, because you're probably not going to catch him, and when you don't catch him, you're going to lose a decision. So you go back and look, and it's like, okay, those are 3 decent fights. Now he gets Clayton Carpenter, who I think is a step down, at least from 2 of those guys for sure. He definitely has wrestling, so there is upside in DraftKings for Clayton Carpenter if he can get the wrestling going. If Jose Ochoa tries to play jiu-jitsu and maybe gets stuck on his back for long periods of time and can't figure out a way to reverse positions or catch him in something. But I do think overall, Jose Ochoa has a really good chance in this fight to find a finish here. It's plus 225 on DraftKings inside the distance. I like that as a bet. And I do like Jose Ochoa a little bit as a dog in DFS, or I'm sorry, as a favorite in DFS, but kind of a low-owned favorite because he's checking in about 14%. There's just so much up in that top range. And everyone wants to get to the very top, Mike, right? With Atiba, with Hamza, Bysanger, even though he'll be a little lower, but still, everyone wants to get to those double stud builds. So it's going to leave guys like Ochoa low owned. And I think this is one of the ways to make your DFS lineup a little unique is playing one of these guys in that upper 8K range that really, outside of Tyra, really no one wants to play that 8,600 to 8,900 range fighter. So I think Jose Ochoa makes a lot of sense. And I think you could play some Clayton Carpenter. I probably won't have a ton just because I'm very high on Ochoa, but I see the path if, he could get the takedowns going for him to have a decent score as a dog.
Yeah, a couple points here. Very very smart, because if you're looking at Ochoa, I have him sniffing 10%. Let's say 15% just to be safe. And then you look at Carpenter being about 25% owned, probably. It's because of that grappling. I think your play there with Ochoa makes a hell of a lot of sense. Paying up for a guy that's going to be just significantly lower owned with an unknown ceiling, right? Like, what if he gets, I don't know, what he could easily get 65 significant strikes over 4.5 minutes with a knockdown. He could do that in the first round, especially if Clayton's pushing that grappling. He's going to be forcing that striking. That's a dynamic you're going to be seeing a lot over this card, is the grapplers pushing a pace into somebody that needs to score, that's going to be in front of them. Now, let me try to talk you into a little bit of safety. The fight to go to a decision on DraftKings is -160. Why not just take the plus money on the fight doesn't go and cover both guys? It's like plus
That's
140.
That's probably a better bet than the 225, but I'm gonna be greedy and pick my side. But you're right. I think you're 100% right. That's a much safer bet. You know what this fight kind of reminds me of, though? It's similar to, like, in DFS terms, the Themba Garimba Jonathan Mikolev fight, where it's like Themba had the takedown upside as a dog, but we like Mikolev's got more power and stuff like that. I think it's similar to that. Or Mikolev actually has grappling and power, but I view Jose Ochoa as just a level ahead. And I think it's going to show in this fight.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I even think it's an unknown for fantasy, what it looks like when it goes 3 rounds. A good unknown, not a bad unknown, more of a, I think there's a higher ceiling than we perceive. Mike W saying Ochoa, my biggest bet today. LFG, 2 units on DeJorn just in case. You know, he's already spending those Ochoa bucks. I don't hate that at all.
Yeah, he's already locked it in. That's what I did with my Prates money, Mike. But literally, I unloaded my account on Prates inside the distance. It was such an easy bet.
He's a sniper. I mean, that guy, he should wait. If he doesn't wait,
that line was insane. I mean, the JDM people, I do appreciate you guys, because that line was crazy. It's just -110, -115, whatever, -108. It kept like moving a little bit, right, Mike? Like, it was up to 120, I think, and then it went back down. It kept going like back down to pretty much a pick 'em the entire time or something like that, -112. I'm like, that was crazy. I mean, that line should have been like -300.
Imagine
like that was insane.
JDM got a takedown in the first and we could get like plus money.
He had him down for a second. He had him down for a second, man.
Not long enough. Hey, I did catch that one because it was by the time I woke up. And by the time I woke up from my
I'm glad
nap,
you got that last one for sure.
Yeah.
Let's go, Chef Frank. Love listening to the show while I'm prepping for the day. Love hearing it, my friend. Good to have you here in the morning.
So we will absolutely be talking about the pick six later on in the show.
I'll say this, and I said it on the show too, which is why I was all over Prates. The only guys that are going to give Prates actual issues are real wrestler, heavy grappler types. It is not the boxer JDM style who have to end up going to the wrestling and grappling because they're okay at it and maybe a little better, but that's still not their style. Those are not the guys that are giving Carlos Prates issues. So yeah, I thought it was funny. Like, I think Islam said something like, man, after that fight, like, Prates has got to be one of the next guys, right? Like, just talking about like contenders and stuff like that. Cause you got a bunch of them. Like, they keep talking about Usman and Morales, but like Prates after that fight, I don't know how you would deny him, Mike, honestly.
Gary's did beat Prates. That's the only thing. But
no, I know, but I'm saying, like, if you give Gary the shot, Prates has to be, whoever wins that fight has to fight Prates, I think.
1,000,000%.
After doing what he did to JDM. And like, if you're Islam, seriously, it might be the more dangerous fight, but is there a better fight for you than Carlos Prates? I mean, Islam's going to take him down in the first 30 seconds.
Now, we'll talk about that type of line that actually is out there now a little bit later
This is
on.
the fight we want as fans.
Yeah, they'll never.
I
That's
just
a last
don't,
resort.
I just don't know if they're going to give us this fight. I would like this fight for like a technically a number. If they gave Gary the shot and they're like, all right, Prates Morales, you guys want to fight each other, and then we can get the real #1 contender and go from there. That would be fun, but I don't know if they're going to give it. And Prates probably wants that next fight to be a title shot, which I don't blame him after that performance. That was really good.
You know who has had some good performances? Came into the UFC, bing, bang, boom. They pushed him right to it was almost a main card. He pushed him right into the UFC after getting a contract. It was by Susurkaev. He is a big favorite at minus 750 against Dijon Santos, and Santos come back a plus 525. I've seen people all over the place. Obviously, we had Mike in chat saying he's going to try to take a shot on Santos. Obviously he's suspect. Haha, get it? Suspect a little bit because of what we've seen. But I mean, he has, I guess he's got grappling in his back pocket that he doesn't use. Don't know if he necessarily wants to go there. I worry about the pace of this particular fight for fantasy. I wonder if it's more tactical, more on the feet, more just distance striking. I don't want that. I think that maybe Beisinger thinks he can win a match like that. Something about Jorn was that last fight. Do you remember the last fight? Danny Barlow. People were on Santos, and good for those people. I wasn't. I've been a Barlow guy who's looking for that one hitter, and nothing ever comes about it. The good thing about Santos is he throws, right? He's going to throw. Is he going to embrace a war? Probably. Is that good for him? Probably not. But don't you flip a coin, right? If it starts getting into the nitty gritty and they're phone booth fighting, doesn't it get a lot closer than a plus 525? Like I'm trying to say, like the line is a little wild. There's a lot of our prospects continue to get smoked, but this is one that eventually looks like he's going to get caught. What was the one where he came into the UFC and he got hurt? Was it Nolan? Nolan stung him in the first round.
Yeah, Eric Nolan. He came in there as a massive favorite off the Contender Series, fresh off the Contender Series, wanted a fight, and they gave him a fight, and he got a good fight from Eric Nolan, who had him. I mean, he had him on skates at the end of that first round. There was 5 seconds left. He hit him with something really good, and you saw him just do the wobble thing. And all of a sudden, he's trying to throw knees and stuff, but he only had 5 seconds, so he couldn't get the finish, Nolan. But no, I mean, if there was like 20 seconds left on the clock, 25 seconds, he might have been able to get a finish. That's how hurt Beisinger was. I think he went and sat down on the ground after that first round. So like he was not feeling well. And then in the second round, he got caught a couple more times, but then he threw a leg kick. And I think it really hurt Eric Nolan because you never see fighters do this, Mike, unless they're really hurt. But he actually like went down to like grab his knee after a kick or leg. So when they do that, you know that their leg is like probably fucked up because they try not to show shit like that. So if they're showing it, then it had to be. And then the grapple from that kick, the grapple fest happened, and he eventually found the sub. But I was one of the guys that was on Santos in the last fight. Santos is a dog. Like he's tough. He's gonna fight for your money. And this line is way too wide. Like this is for a guy who's, he's gotten hurt. He's shown that he can be hittable because he's very overconfident. When he fights, he honestly fights like he's Chimaev or like one of the high level athletes, like top of the game, because he's so overconfident in his abilities that he can be caught. He doesn't actually fight like Chimaev, like the wrestling style, but he fights like one of those top tier guys that is just ultra confident in their abilities. And I don't know if he's he's there yet. He could be eventually, Mike. He's definitely got serious skills on the feet and on the ground to be really good, but the line is just insane to me. And Santos does have, some decent skills here. So I think he's got a shot. Yeah, is it a little bit of a long shot for sure, but I'm going to take my shot on Santos here. It's like plus 525. That's insane. I don't know. I don't know how you bet. The only way I would bet Beisanger is I would bet him by sub if I were to bet him, because it's plus 450. And someone like Santos, who he's 11-2 in his MMA career, but he's never been finished. And if you look at it, he's got a lot of decisions recently on his record. He's not an easy guy to get out of there. I'm not saying he can't, obviously. We see guys get out of there for the first time all the time. It happens. But I do think, like, if he were to get finished, it's probably like a club and sub situation, or Susurkaev gets frustrated on the feet because he can't like hurt him and finish him, so he starts wrestling. That would be like the way I would bet Beisanger, though, if I had to. But yeah, Santos is going to be my pick. And for DFS, I'm lower on Susurkaev and higher on Santos, and it's more just the durability of Santos. I think at 9,600, that's going to hurt someone like Beisanger in DFS if he can't get that early finish at that price tag, Mike. I mean, 9,600, he better wrestle his ass off to if he's not getting the early finish, he's going to have to wrestle his ass off, I think, to make that 9,600 work. And I don't know if he has the gas tank to be like the heavy wrestling style yet.
So a couple things to help your underdog pick. Not necessarily where I'm going, but I don't hate it because of the number, right? That's what really we're playing. I'm breaking it down with look at the did you see the total has been smoked from minus 135 down to minus 175 on the over 1.5. That correlates with DeJourn, I'd say. I think it strongly correlates with him, right?
Yeah.
I think that means it's a competitive match, that they're actually striking a significant.
And they're giving him the toughness credit too, that like
correct.
He can hang,
But why are you not immediately taking significant strikes? There are some, like this guy in his matchups, when I was kind of going through it, I mean, he's got nearly 100. Let's just call it 100, 131, and 85. And these are all 3-round decisions for him. Why are you not just laddering the absolute shit out of his significant strikes? It starts, his over-under is 28.5. That should be a lock for you if you think of him. Then that's a, minus 115, so over. But then you start at the first rung, it's plus 115. I won't go through them all just to waste time, but 75 plus strikes for DeJourn is 550. You're doing it wrong if you're not trying to take a shot up there. And obviously, I think the pace will be there to strike. That's his path. He sometimes just strikes to keep people off of him. I mean, that definitely should be in play here. You're obviously dead to a knockout or a submission, dead to a potential grappling. I wouldn't necessarily say dead, right? Like maybe he's able to mix in some strikes as the grappling is occurring. But what do you think about those two ways to break it down? Again, not my side.
When we get to the pick six at the end of the show, I do think that we should keep the significant strike look in the back pocket there, Mike, because I think it is a good look. I think it correlates well to that oversteam too that we're seeing.
Absolutely. Yeah. Sometimes those other significant strikes, takedowns don't correlate with them, and they don't catch up to the money movement, which is a good thing for us. But I agree on the DFS take just for sure. Beisanger, not somebody where you're going to see me go under on the field. Let's move on to the next fight of the night, which I think is a really interesting fight because you have a guy that scores a shit ton for fantasy with grappling versus a guy who is contagious to scoring even close to 90 points. We have Pat Sabatini minus 166 on DraftKings Sportsbook, comeback on Gomes, and William Gomes is plus 140. I wouldn't necessarily say it's a striker versus grappler because Gomes is more of a generalist. I think he's athletic enough to be good everywhere. If he stops these takedowns, he could. This is one of your favorite situations. He could look minus 300, minus 400. But Pat Sabatini is just, he will sell out for those takedowns. He'll go body lock, try to get down to a double. If he doesn't get the double, he's grabbing your ankle trying to pull you down. Like, he does not care. So, a guy that is so reliant on it is so concerning to me on this card, because I feel like Gomes, if he ever scores, this is the fight that he scores, is it not? I mean, he's going to be forced into either knocking out Sabatini or stuffing takedowns and just piecing volume on the feet. I'm a Pat guy. I think he's very talented. Gomes always fights to a lot of split decisions. That's the concern for me. So I could absolutely see Sabatini get off with some of the wrestling early, kill a little bit of the fantasy upside like usual for Gomes, and then Gomes win on the feet, 7.5 minutes of striking after stuffing takedowns late in the fight. So I'm struggling here. The over is minus 175 over 2.5 rounds. So I do think it goes to a decision. My first look was trying to get crafty. I was like, Sabatini decision. And then I'm like, well, if it's Sabatini decision, that probably means Gomes could be a split decision.
Yeah, you make some really good points. I was going to talk about it too, but I think this is a really, even though it's a tough fight, because William Gomes is a tough fighter. He's a solid fighter who I feel like is just, he always is in the fight, even if he's not the better fighter. He's just that type of guy that is going to hang around, Mike. He's going to make it somewhat close. He's gritty. My problem with him in this matchup is Pat Sabatini is going to lose to specific guys. He's going to lose to guys that not just have the defense, which I think William Gomes does have decent defense, but he's going to lose to guys that have like power too. They need to have some pop on their shots, like big pop here, so they can catch Pat when he's coming in, because like you said, he's going to be very aggressive. And Pat, when he comes in to start those wrestling exchanges and he starts grappling with you, he is as high level of a grappler as you will see. If go back and watch the Chepe fight. Chepe is an amazing grappler. Chepe's awesome. And Pat was just beating him every single time. He was always, it felt like, just a step ahead. He got 7 takedowns in that fight. And Chepe's got good defense, right? Mike, wouldn't you say Chepe's got really good defense, really good grappling? And Pat was just better at each level than him. And I think that is the issue in this fight is William. He doesn't have as good a grappling as Chepe either, but he's got good defense. But Pat is just so high level, and he doesn't have the power, I think, that's going to scare Pat from just forcing the wrestling and grappling exchanges. So maybe I'm wrong, and maybe he finds a finish. And I will say, I think if he wins, I think he wins by finish. If I were to guess, I think if it goes to the scorecards, it means Pat is winning a lot of these wrestling exchanges. So I'm going Pat here. I don't know if he finishes William Gomes, because like I said, he does have good defense. But I think he will have the opportunity to finish him, because I think it's going to be a lot of time spent controlling him on the ground.
Yeah, I thought it would be kind of cool on this particular slate. You could do, and there's a lot of plus money on guys that are grapplers with submissions on this slate. One of my friends on Twitter, Aiden K, was saying, Pat Sabatini by submission. You'll talk about Grant Dawson by submission, Sean Brady by submission. Sean Brady alone is plus 350. You could play the submission parlay or round robin and probably be profitable on this slate. Do you agree with that? Like,
stop teasing me, Mike. I love me a good submission parlay.
I mean,
don't stop teasing me.
Think about it. You got Hamza, Tyra. Tyra is plus money. Like, these guys that have direct paths, and they're over 2-1 on almost everybody.
But doesn't that show you, though, a lot of those guys are fighting? This is a good card. There's a lot of high-level athletes and fighters on this card. And a lot of those guys are fighting good competition. William Gomez is good competition. Pat Sabatini's definitely fought the better competition, but William Gomez is good. Joshua Van, very good. Joaquin Buckley is good. You know what I mean? So like, it just shows you the level of competition is up. You know what I mean? With these guys, and I feel like they're trying to bait you into those sub props at those plus money. They're trying
That's why you round robin. Then you hate the round robins, but
no, I fuck with the round robins.
But because at that point you just need 2. You don't need all 3
Mike,
or 4.
I like anything where I can get long odds. So if that means round robins, I don't care. I like anything where I can get long odds and try and hit for a big load of money.
So if you're on Sabatini, do you like him what's the line? The double line you like? Do you like him decision sub, or would you just you're playing the straight minus?
I mean, decision sub's got to be close to his money line.
Oh yeah, well I haven't even looked, so I won't even bother.
I would assume. I could be wrong, but
yeah. So
Pat Sabatini is not getting many KOs.
Yeah, if you're William Gomez at 10% is one of the lower owned guys as well. Sabatini, I have coming in here at loading in now. I can imagine somewhat popular because of the price tag, right? It's more of a price play.
And don't forget too, William Gomez doesn't score. There's a reason though, because he likes to fight at space and he likes to keep range. Pat Sabatini is not gonna want to strike with this dude at range. He is going to force the exchanges. That's the whole point. I'm not playing a ton of Gomez because I think Pat Sabatini is going to get this thing done, but Pat is going to force the fight is what I'm saying, is all I'm saying. And Gomez probably won't score if I'm right, because he's going to spend a lot of time, with his back flat against the octagon here. But
the opportunity is catching Pat on the way in.
Correct.
That's where the opportunity lands.
Correct.
And for him, he has probably 10 minutes to work with, because that's going to be at least 80 plus points. You'll get the win points plus whatever conditionally he gets after. So
I just think Pat has done it against some of the elite guys, and it's like, man, how do you go against that? I mean, I don't know.
Like the UFC grappling, or the RA, not the RAF, the other one that they all do.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
he faced one of the most elite guys and beat him. Sabatini did,
dude.
Like, that's how high level he is.
Seriously though, how many times in 3-round fights do you see double-digit control time? If that doesn't tell you right there how elite this dude is on the ground, I mean, he had Chepe on the ground, or control time, 11 minutes and 37 seconds of a 3-round fight. Joe Anderson Brito, he controlled him the entire fight outside of 13 seconds. I mean,
he'll backpack you too. Let's not sleep on him just backpacking and doing the little,
well, he might
taps to the head.
Absolutely might do that.
Yeah. And I don't know if we're necessarily going to see some grappling in this next one, but I do think it'll be a banger as long as it lasts. Marco Tulio Silva versus Roman Kopylov. Marco minus 185, Kopylov a plus 154 on DraftKings Sportsbook. I'm going to tee it up to you right away, because Kopylov is an interesting case, man. This is he's a fringe top 15 guy, is he not? He has to be.
I think he is. I mean, his two losses recently, obviously he's on a 2-fight skid. Gregory Rodriguez, good fighter, went to a decision, lost that. Paulo Costa, I mean, Costa looked amazing last time out, so how much are we dinging him for that?
He was a favorite. He was a favorite in that fight.
Hernandez, I mean, you start looking at these losses, these are two very good fighters here, and now you get Marco Tulio, who's a favorite, coming off of that last fight against Duncan, where he got put out in style, by the way. And before that, his 2 fights were Tresean Gore, who's shown himself to be, better, obviously solid, and Potieri. So, I mean, I don't know. I kind of trust Roman a little bit more, especially, even though he's losing, it's not like he's losing and getting just put out by these guys, right? It'd be different if like Gregory Rodriguez just went in and just steamrolled right through him, right? I'd be like, oh, that's not a good look. But they didn't, you know what I mean? They didn't. He dogged it out, got to a decision, ends up losing a decision, but that's okay against these high level guys. And now he gets Tulio off the bad knockout. 7,300. I think Roman is a decent dog play. Tulio is tough to play, man, at that price tag. I don't know if he's finishing Roman. Roman is tough, dude. Roman is tough. The only guy who's finished them are, like the Hernandez. And then you go way back, obviously, but like in this stretch, Hernandez really the only guy via sub. I don't see the finish. So I think this fight either goes to the cards or maybe Roman can find like one of those head kicks or something that lands or something like that. Cause he's got some pretty good kicks.
Oh, he throws them. And if he sees that head or hands down, he will just throw it out there. Not just to gauge distance. Some guys will just throw it up there to be like, oh, all right.
Yeah.
I know it's coming, whatever. I can move out of the way, but he'll just flick it and be like, all right. Well.
The thing with this fight too is you got to remember these guys have power. Roman is already he's a very like patient guy. He'll take his time, Mike. He'll find his openings. He'll take his time. He likes to fight at space. So I don't know if you're going to get like a shitload of volume. So you're going to need him to catch them. But that's why like a round 2 or round 3 finish, probably the way to go with Roman Kopylov if you want to get really dangerous there.
You see me digging it up 10-1, and that's just the
round 2 is 10-1.
Yep, 3 is 18-1 on DraftKings.
Yeah.
That's an amazing price tag.
Yeah, those are fun. Those are fun bets. Those are sprinkle fun bets right there.
And again, remember how I told you can build it on same game parlay, so you can just hit the knockout, hit him, and then over
like time. 5 minutes or 6 minutes or whatever it is. Yep.
You got it, buddy, man. Let's
do you agree with this? Hamza and Jace, you have the same beard? Do I? I don't know.
I don't know. Is there a little volume? It also kind of comes to a point sometimes for him on Chimaev.
Yeah, I feel like he's got a little more volume in the beard, and it's a little more kept together, whereas mine is a little more out there. Not as kept together. Yeah, yeah, unhinged, whatever you want to call it. But
someday I'll have to grow one out for you because it looks like Ronald McDonald went into a cheese grater. It's awful.
You have a beard? You can grow a beard?
I mean exactly what I just described.
Now I need to see it. I need to see you grow a beard. I'm calling bullshit. Chat, what do you think?
I'll send you a picture. It's awful.
Put a poll in chat, Mike. I want to know if chat thinks you can grow a full beard. I'm going no fucking way.
Yeah, well, I have a picture of myself and Bob Costa.
Dude, I could definitely be a good Dagestani water boy. I would crush that.
Dude, bro. No, you know what you would be good at? You'd be playing the basketball. You know those guys when they pick up the big weighted balls?
Dude, that looks so fun. The Dagestani basketball where they just like tackle each other and they don't dribble really. They just like run and score.
You know what they use? They're not using a basketball. You know that, right? They're using a med ball.
They're using a med ball. I know.
Okay, good.
It looks fun as shit. That looks fun.
Yeah. Ownership here on this particular fight gonna be a little bit lower compared to the field.
Fact.
Kopylov about 17%. Tulio I'm seeing at 30%. You think Tulio's volume can make up for his scoring? That's the one problem I have. But I feel like Kopylov can slow the pace of the fight down to make Tulio not score as well. So I think that's how that one's going to play out. But we go from that kind of war, I would say, to two elder statesmen. We have Jared Gordon coming in here as a -278 favorite. Come back on Jim Miller, the old man. Is he the oldest fighter in the UFC in a long, long time? +225 underdog. How can you not root for Jim Miller? I think that's the first thing you have to say. But doesn't age win out here like 99% of the time? Like, Jared, just mind your P's and Q's. Like, don't get in there and try to grapple. He could catch you. Jim Miller cracks still. to be fair. I mean, he's got a heavy left. He will throw it. But it's more at his pace, and he hasn't been setting the pace in Jim Miller in a long time. I think Jared Gordon has a very unknown ceiling here. I don't think people are going to want to play him because of everybody around him. 16% owned, I'm guessing, for Gordon in this spot. I don't even think people want to play Jim Miller, but I'm seeing him at 25. Do you agree with Miller being a popular dog play just due to nowhere? I mean, I guess there's nowhere to go on this slate outside of the main event underdogs. How are you handling this? I'm just like over under minus 200 nearly for over 2.5 rounds. It's not like they're going to go out there and be like their old self. They're very old guys, commodities here.
Threw that poll up there for the people. Can Buddha grow a beard? Yes, for sure. Absolutely no fucking way. I'm going absolutely no fucking way with this poll here. Zero chance Mike grows a beard. That's what I'm saying right there.
I'm pulling 2 old pictures for you just so you can toss them up there later.
Look at this thing. I'm putting it right under you. Look at that. There's no way. 1 in the chat if he can grow a beard. 2 if you think absolutely no fucking way this dude grows a beard. Which fight were we on? I'm sorry.
We're on the old men. We're on Jim Miller.
Oh, Jimmy Miller. Okay.
You got to root for him.
I am totally biased here, and I try to not be biased with my guys, but I can't help it. Jim Miller is one of my favorite fighters. I've loved watching Jim Miller forever. He's an absolute dog. I do worry that, he is obviously a step or 2 slower now, Mike, at this point in his career. What is he, 42 and still fighting? Yes. I mean, the guy is an absolute legend here. And, again, I'm very biased. But Jared Gordon is 37, and he's not like the greatest fighter either. Rafa Garcia was his last fight. He did lose, but Rafa looked good in his last fight. So I don't know how much you want to ding him for that loss. He obviously had the car thing, wreck, whatever it was, came in there, didn't look good. So I assume that's behind him. I'm just not a big Jared Gordon guy, and I'll just say I'm probably going to end up betting Jim Miller at these odds, being that they feel a little wide, but he definitely probably is a step slower in the striking than Jared Gordon. So I do worry about that. I also worry though too that after Jared's last fight, he's going to want to get it back, obviously getting finished. And I worry that Jim is going to come out there ultra aggressive here, and it could backfire. So this could be a good DFS fight is kind of where I'm leaning, Mike, where I think you could make a case to have a little bit of both of these guys. Jared Gordon's only 13%. I'm not going to have a ton just because I love Jimmy Miller, but Jimmy Miller also 13%. This is a low-owned fight that I think you could be at the field with no problem.
Oh, I'm more surprised by my projections saying Jim Miller's going to be 25%. That's what I'm surprised about. Like, I don't know if I can get there. I think it's so easy to fade him at that number. And then you look at some of the inside the distance lines for him, and he's just such a massive, like, plus 500 inside the distance on DraftKings Sportsbook. I mean, his path is probably to do so against a guy who just got finished and, like, quite literally got hit by a goddamn bus. He got hit by a fucking car the last time out. Nobody knew. How the hell does that information not get out? Jared Gordon got hit by a car the day before the fight against Rafa, and he goes in there and gets knocked out in the 3rd round. I don't know what you can take. How can you take anything away from a guy that gets hit by a car and then goes out there and fights as a favorite in that spot, minus 155? Grappling wise, I actually still think that Gordon is sneaky good on the mat when it gets there. I don't think he wants to push that. If I'm trying to scratch and claw for a bet side of things, I think the play is Gordon decision. just because it covers. So a lot of his fights tend to be a little bit closer for Jared Gordon. So I'm like, do I really want to go here? But I just think he's just going to be that much more sharper than Jim Miller. I believe Jim Miller's from the region here in New Jersey, if I'm not mistaken, somewhere down there. So, he might have a lot of the crowd behind him for every single punch. But you look at the opening number. I always like to look at the opener. The opener was about where it is, minus 250, and it's minus 260. So even the sports book set a pretty good line, or the public is wrong on what they think about on this fight. So wow, I never thought you would want a piece of it, but apparently you do. And again, do you really think that Miller's going to come in 25% owned? My predictions? Well,
No.
where else do you go, I guess?
Well, you've got two main events. You've got, I think guys like Carpenter, Kopylov, even William Gomez. These guys are going to get some ownership here.
Yeah.
I think they're all like splitting each other's ownership because they're all like under 20%. Because the thing with this card, Mike, is even the underdogs in the 2 5-round fights, they're projecting for like 20. Like Sean Strickland's projecting for like 20%, and Van's projecting for like double that. So obviously you can go to those dogs, and then like these other guys are just splitting ownership, like those 4. So that's where a lot of people are going. And then that mid tier, people love the mid tier, and people are going to that low 8K.
You mean this elite fight here that's coming up next? Probably one of the best fights we've had in a while when it comes to sticking your flag in. We have Grant Dawson as a minus 148 favorite. Comeback on Mr. Mataus Rebecki is a plus 124. He fits my mold. I love my molds of better inside the distance line than his opponent. He's plus 225 inside the distance, but he's got these little T-Rex arms. I'm concerned. The only thing I can see is that Dawson shoots into something, because I think Dawson could probably keep distance. He loves his grappling. Dawson's best inside the distance line out there is DraftKings Sportsbook plus 350. If you think it goes that route, but let's get back to that grappling. Grant, you're elite when you get off. All of your wrestling is very, very high level. I feel like sometimes Rebecki, especially when he gets offensively wrestled, can be not that good off his back. I mean, he can work his way up early, but I think the deeper the fight goes, it probably leans Dawson. So I think that Rebecki probably has 7.5 minutes to work with, and that's giving him a little bit. I mean, I think he's a first-round fighter. Love this fight. Absolutely love the fight, because when you first had Rebecki coming into the UFC, he was the guy kind of scoring all over the place, and now he's been setback. So he always wears damage, right? Remember, his eyes always shut. So I mean, I don't hate a poke at Dawson at plus 350 inside the distance line, to be fair. How many times have we thought Rebecki was going to get finished and he just makes the bell?
A lot, man. But like you said, he wears the damage rough, and this could be a situation where even like a doctor stoppage, man, if Grant Dawson's like round and pounding, and they just, he gets one of those bad cuts and they need to stop the fight, like that could definitely happen in this fight. I like the bet this fight to finish via KO. I think both guys have the ability, Grant Dawson via ground and pound, or Rebecki with Grant Dawson coming in and catching him.
Did you see the Dawson line? Plus 900, just straight up to KO. That's wild. I like that. So you take it both sides.
Long. Yeah, that's long. So you can either go the long shot or get both sides and stuff. Both sides are still plus money, because obviously this fight is favored to go to the cards, but I see paths for both of these guys to be able to finish the other via KO.
Oh, 100%. I mean, I know people that are in the inner circle of Dawson, and they some people will protect their fighters at all costs, and I just straight up text, hey, how gone is Dawson's chin? And they just laughed at me. So that kind of said a lot, right? Like, I'm like, okay. I do think if he's in the gym getting knocked out all the time, you got to protect the guy. We don't know if that's happening. I don't know if that's happening, but it certainly seems like when he's getting caught clean, it's either at distance or when he's crashing distance, he's getting hurt. And Rebecki does have power.
And
Again,
Rebecki's a dog. Like,
yeah,
even if he spends the whole first round on his back, like, he could come back in the second round, bloodied, broken nose, and just catch him the first
Rollby.
minute. Yeah.
Remember Olby? That
Yeah.
fight was legendary.
Absolutely.
And he certainly has legendary Polish power. This is going to have a ton of ownership. And this is the rare case where I think if Dawson comes so significantly lower owned than Rebecki, I would need to just be like quadruple the field, like just almost lock button. But it's going to be like 25% owned for both of these guys. That's the big downfall where it's like I'm sad that Dawson has that grappling that can score so well. You think the winner of this fight is optimal? I'd say 80% sure that it is.
Yeah, I like this fight to be optimal. So,
I mean,
yeah, I agree.
I mean, it's priced right.
Dude,
I think
Rebecki and losses are scoring really well. Now, I don't think he's going to be the guy taking down Grant Dawson, so I don't know if those takedowns are going to be there. But again, like you said, he has upside for the finish early, whereas a lot of these fights are going to the card. So Dawson's got that bad chin. Who'd you end up picking? Who'd you end up picking here?
a Dawson by a hair.
Oh, I took
It's the
Rebecki.
grappling. It's the grappling in the back pocket.
It's the chin that terrifies me.
Oh, and I know that. That's why I told you I was digging. I was digging as much as I can to try to see what I could get. And when I get laughed at, that's pretty telling. I mean, I believe my sources when I try to go to them. And I mean, you look at the prop side of things. This is going to be telling too that the takedown line starts at 2.5. They think 1 per round minimum is basically what they're saying. That correlates with the win equity. Minus 135. His win equity is minus 148. They're just saying simple takedown decision.
Yep.
It's frustrating. But yeah, I mean, obviously my pick would be Dawson, just blind pick. That is what it is. Numbers and plus money.
I laughed when he said he could grow a full beard. I did laugh.
Well, it's not a full beard, but wait until I send you something in a second.
It's like when you're like 13 and the beard starts to come in and you got like the patches, Mike.
Oh yeah,
you remember that? You remember that? You get the patches.
It may be on your phone right now. So we move on to the next fight of the night that I think is one of the more divisive fights because you've got the Joel Alvarez guys, then you've got the Bellator guys. You've got Yaroslav Amosov as a minus 185 favorite and Joel Alvarez a plus 154 underdog. This is the betting line that opened as Joel Alvarez, the offshore setter, minus 400. That existed for 0.5 seconds out there, and then it flipped. But that's where the opener was. I thought that was very surprising. And now you've got Amosov is nearing a 2-1 favorite here. Against a guy who's been so dangerous in the UFC. Joel Alvarez has put together a very nice career in the UFC, 23-3. Just getting it done by knockout early, submission early. I think he's just outsizing a lot of people in the UFC, and that's been one of his big advantages. But when you look at Amosov, he can compete with him there, man. He's kind of the same stature. When at weigh-ins, I was hoping he would be towering over him. So I don't hate the Amosov. He can probably negate some of the grappling, and I think that's the interesting thing here. And then when you look at power on the hands, I would probably lean Amosov. I think the guy's got a little bit more power. It should have got off the pot for him. He's got to make a run here now or never. And I think we've said that same thing about Joel Alvarez for a long time. But I don't know who the UFC wants to win or not. Over under at 1.5 rounds is smoked to the over because they think higher level competition facing each other. Something you alluded to earlier that it kind of negates itself. But when you look at X's and O's, this should score. But aren't you worried that it's too competitive for fantasy, that it just nothing happens or something?
Yeah, I am. And the Bills in the house says the show is all over the place with the times. Sorry, brother. Had to have a nephew's christening at 11, so could not do the normal time. And then obviously yesterday or last week with the 4 a.m. start, there was no way we were doing a Saturday show, obviously. So yeah, the times are all over the place. It sucks, but that's why you get the Run Pure Sports subscribe to the channel. That's why you get the subscribe button. You make sure you're subscribed. You get the notifications and stuff if we end up going live, an hour or two before. But hopefully we can get back to the normal time for the next card here, as long as it's not a weird start time. Yeah. So hopefully we can get to that. But this fight, there's a lot of fights that I feel strongly about. This is not really one of them. I think both guys, I see paths to both guys getting it done. I ended up taking the dog and Joel Alvarez, just at the plus money here. But Amosov is a good fighter. I think, he can pose some problems for Alvarez for sure. I did think it was funny. I don't know if you saw it, Mike. Did you see when Armin and Alvarez kind of like met in the gym or met somewhere, and Armin looked at him and he was like, how the heck did we fight? Because Joel Alvarez is just huge now. And Armin's like, how the hell did we fight?
Saw that.
Dude is just massive compared to Armin when you look at it. But yeah, no, I mean, both good fighters. I lean the dog. I think it's an okay DFS fight. I worry if the grappling negates itself and then we get a mostly striking matchup. That is my one worry. But they both have upside in the scoring.
Yeah, I think Amosov is a risk-adverse type of guy. I look at him as taking a path of least resistance against Magny. He gets the takedown, gets him out of there, bing, bang, boom. I mean, that's what you want to do. You don't want to stand and trade with Magny. You don't want to be – and it's like Alvarez is actually dangerous everywhere. So is it gluing yourself against the cage, doing the little cage fighting with the little, single fin strikes, breaking off of it? That can put him in trouble. The more dangerous guy does seem to be Alvarez. That's why I'm like, this is your typical Bellator guy coming into the UFC, and now he's got a favorite tag. I don't believe that minus 400 for Joel Alvarez was a solid opener, but say half of that at minus 200, that seems like a better line. I can't agree with Amosov being the favorite. I guess it's because he's got one loss, right? And by the way, have you looked at the guy? I mean, he looks like he's 50. And I know war ages you, right? Ukrainian fighter, war ages you very quickly. But if this thing hits the mat, I mean, and they're dry, don't you lean Alvarez? Reverses and like whatever. Either way.
Amosov is a big I do kind of lean Alvarez, but it's dicey, man. I could see him getting stuck too because he's just trying to implement the grappling from like a tough position, and Amosov can like just fend it off. But yeah, no, that's why I kind of lean Joel Alvarez. But again, it's not one of the fights I feel like very strongly about here. Binair, I was worried you would miss it, so I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're up and ready to roll. Jake Swale says Hokit GOAT. What'd you think of that? Because I think that everybody in that press conference, besides Josh Hokit, either hated every second of him talking or was like, get me the fuck out of here. One or the other. It was one or the other.
I have it queued up. I haven't looked at it yet.
You haven't watched it?
No, I've got it queued up.
Okay. All right. Well, then never mind. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it next time when you get here.
I'll have everything up to date, which is going to be fun because guess what we have?
It is very interesting. That's all I will say. It is very interesting.
Guess what we have next week? Carano and Rousey.
Oh, yeah, you can't wait to talk about that card.
Mokaev is out. I just got that alert 15 minutes ago.
Boo.
Yeah, just what we want. Well, just put him on the UFC card instead. Top
Yeah,
tier.
but where, bro? But where? Not on his face. I saw the pic. It's like
It's
I wouldn't call that
2013 playoff
I wouldn't
beard,
call
dog.
that a full beard. I would call that like a 3/4 beard.
That's all I can do. And that was 2013 playoffs. You got to try to attempt one back in 13 for the Red Sox playoff beard, but that's all I can do, John. That's all I got.
So LeBrier says Dawson and Rebecki trained together. I don't think Dawson would take the fight if him and his team didn't think Dawson had the clear advantage. I'll tell you right now, Dawson has lost fights where he's had the clear advantage because his chin is so bad. So you're 100% right. They probably think that Dawson can have the better of this dude in the wrestling and grappling, and that's why they took the fight. But that doesn't mean Dawson can't be caught on the way in, because he's been caught against guys that he would have definitely had the advantage in the wrestling and grappling, if not. So yeah, I agree with what you're saying. I just think it doesn't matter for his case because his chin is just so bad at this point. And Rebecki, no matter if you think he's a good striker or not, he throws with power. Like
But he's got short arms.
he does have short arms, but Dawson's gonna come to him. It's not gonna be hard to find Dawson. He's gonna come. At some point he's gonna close the distance and meet. So he'll have a shot.
Phila, my man, they haven't opened up the futures since we gave you Kevin Vallejos $1 billion to 1. I wonder why they haven't opened that line. Isn't that surprising, huh? Almost like we got some plus
God, I look at that ticket every day.
All we want, Phila, is for you to subscribe to Run Pure Sports. Once he gets booked for the title match, we don't even want him to necessarily win for you to spend those bucks over here. But
no, we want him to win.
Well, we do, but I mean, I'm just trying to get another member on board. But use the playoffs 26 for 26% off of Run Pure Sports. You know where you could also do that? You could say, hey, let me take a Atiba Gautier by knockout at a decent price tag compared to his money line, which is minus 1,100 versus Aussie Diaz at plus 700. Inside the distance line, obviously going to be, minus 650. The round one for him, probably one of the best you've ever seen, minus 220s out there. Hey, DraftKings Sportsbook still hanging a minus 160. You like value? There's a legitimate amount of value. It's almost minus 200 right now on all of the other books. It's a get right spot, is it not? We saw Atiba last time out as the big favorite. Polaev, it's going to be a test. He goes to a decision. And remember, that was going to be like, I think 20 to 1. I mean, I think it was up there on what the decision, him winning by decision. I really think that Atiba will want to get this thing done early. I think he wants to get in a few more fights before the end of the year. I think he's growing on the job, 10-1. He's probably the best prospect in the UFC. I don't know.
Hey.
Don't say
disrespect my guy, Damian Pinas. Don't you dare disrespect him.
Oh, they're mirrors of each other, though.
Oh, dude, I want that. I want give it to us.
We all do. And
give it to us, UFC. We want it. They won't do it, but we want it. Oh, we want it.
Is this not the Ming Zing fight again for Diaz? Like, here's your step up. Here's your prospect. Because Zing at that point was the prospect.
So it's funny with this fight. So Atiba was the fight last time out that busted, and everyone was on, including me. I'm sure you were on it too. We were all on it. Finish. And you watched him go out there. He threw in a 3-round fight. He threw 34. He landed 34 significant strikes in a 3-round fight. He was extremely hesitant. I think those were all the strikes that he landed too. Like there's just the 34 significant strikes. So he knocked him down twice and he just refused to go finish the dude. Like, he would knock him down and then he'd back off. It was very odd. I'm not saying anything weird. I'm just saying it was very odd watching him do this. I'm with you. I think this would be like the get right here, where he just did the 3-round thing. Okay, I can go 3 rounds, whatever. And now he's probably going to go out there and probably in the first like 90 seconds, going to starch this dude, Diaz. So, yeah, I mean, it's tough not to like some Atiba here. I have him ranked as the second best, 9K guy, obviously. But there is concern that he kind of holds back. And on top of it, Mike, he doesn't really wrestle or grapple. So you're not getting those DFS points. So you kind of need an early finish because he's not giving you volume. We already saw that.
Don't say early finish. You mean 60 seconds or 450 on the clock. You want 450.
Okay. He needs a first round finish. He needs a first round finish because if Chimaev goes out there and wrestles his ass off, he's going to score 1 billion points. He's probably not going to outscore Chimaev in a victory. So like, does 108, does that get it done? Like, you would be happy with 108, but does it get it done on this card? Could there be a couple guys that get in the 110, 115, 120 range? I don't know. You know what I mean? It's so that's my one concern is like the volume's not going to be there. So you have to get that first round finish. I think you will get it, but it does scare me just thinking back to that fight where at any point he could have decided in that fight, I'm going to go finish this guy, Mike, and he just didn't want to.
Yeah,
or chose not to. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what it was either. I have Gautier coming in at 40% owned. We talked about Susurkaev at 27%, say 30% for him. But that extra $200 means so fucking much on this slate that I find it difficult to.
Don't forget too, he's expensive.
90, that's what I'm saying, 9,800. I mean, this is not your Merab Dvalishvili versus one of the lowest level competition in his division type of guys, meaning he's not just going to get grappling over and over and over. You're relying on that knockout, which very much should present itself. Ozzy Diaz 0-2 versus the knockdown rate. He doesn't even have a knockdown himself, surprisingly, through 3 statistical contender series and UFC fights. But I mean, you really can't play Ozzy Diaz, right? I mean, you're fading that chin all day long. I'm also probably going to fade the fight from a fantasy because, again, I think a 3-minute knockout is going to look like 105 points. And statistically, that's just not going to be enough. I think I'd rather, at that point, try to go for a mid-range build. I mean, why bother? It's just too much money. And I mean, how do you even give a prop out? I don't even think we can give a prop out on this fight. You know what I mean? Like, everything is so accurate.
Yeah, it's tough for sure. I do agree with this too. LeBrier says Diaz is gonna come to Gautier and throw compared to Pullaev running from him. You're 100% right, and that's why I think this fight will get finished in the first round. It's just scary when you watch that last fight because even though Pullaev wasn't doing that, he still had multiple opportunities to get him out of there, I thought, and he just didn't want to for whatever reason. And Don Easy, you know who I'm talking about. You know who it is. Don't start going there right now. You know who I'm talking about, the real one right there. That dude is. I can't wait to see that guy back in. That's free money when he gets back in there.
Atiba 21.5.
That's by the way, that's our next champion bet. Whenever DraftKings opens up the futures odds, the first thing we're doing is going to DraftKings Sportsbook and we're betting Damian Pinas for the belt.
27.
27 belt.
I believe in fall you will see the odds start opening up for 27. They may open it up again before, but I don't think there'll be anything. The problem is there's just so many fights to be scheduled. I think International Fight Week is the one that you start pointing at and saying that's
Yeah,
going to dictate a lot of it. I think you'll see Vallejos in Silva. He's still on the table. Why not do that? I mean, I'd rather it for the title personally, but
me
let's
too.
get there. Atiba Gautier over under 21.5 significant strikes. Ozzy Diaz on DraftKings Sportsbook 11.5 significant strikes. Isn't it funny? I would almost want to take the under to the 11.5.
It kind of correlates to the under on Atiba though, too, right? A little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah, 100%. So, yeah, fuck it, man. There's not a lot to be said there. I just think it's a fadeable fight from a fantasy because it's like you just need the exact thing to happen. You know what's going to happen? Atiba's going to knock him down twice, and it's going to be like 127 points.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
looking for a little clip right there. You know I'm doing clip hunting. Can I clip hunt in this next fight? I'm not entirely sure. Bobby Green, King Green versus Jeremy Stevens. How is Stevens still in the UFC? King Green minus 425 on DraftKings Sportsbook. Nothing but money coming in on him. Jeremy Stevens a plus 330. How do I not try to fade Bobby Green? I mean, Bobby Green is a volatile fighter. He's almost better as an underdog, is he not? I mean, as a commodity. And I fucking hate Stevens as a play and as a where he is in his career. He's not very good at all. He's slow. But it's also like you look at these fights, Lance Gibson, he's a slight favorite there. One of the judges gave Lance Gibson a one of the rounds. Zellhuber, amazing as an underdog. I mean, look at that. Plus 325. Zellhuber a bust at this stage. He was a favorite against Jim Miller, wins that one. But it's like he starts to perform as an underdog. Stevens hasn't won a goddamn fight in a million years. I'm just trying to talk myself into pulling a trigger on him because it's like a lot of Bobby's fights tend to be close because he's doing, he's like dusting off the strikes as you're punching him. He'll lose a round after clearly winning 4.5 minutes of a round and then just get 1-2, 1-2. And he's like, nope. Am I dumb to try to fade him? Like, it's not about Stevens being good at all. It's just like Stevens, at least for the lack of tools that he has, he should go forward. He should try to strike. He should go and try to score points. Durability wise, Green should have this much more durability as well. I mean, we've seen Green caught before. I don't think Stevens is the guy to do it, but it's a winnable fight for both guys. And you're giving me a plus 330 on Stevens. I could look like an idiot. And I know I am going to look like an idiot because I don't necessarily believe that Stevens will win, but it's a Bobby Green fight. Sorry, King Green. I respect the man.
Yeah. Jeremy Stevens in his last 10 fights over a span of like 7 years, 8 years, whatever it is like 1-9. Like that is
No. Bare knuckle. Come on.
Miles Price in a split decision. 11-10 Miles Price was his last win, Mike, in that stretch. Yeah, this is a bad spot for Jeremy Stevens. This is not the Mason Jones fight. Mason Jones is an absolute dog who is going to stay in your face, take 1 or 2 to give you 1 or 2. It is Mason Jones, who's a good fighter, by the way, but he's a much easier task to actually connect and hit than Bobby Green. Bobby Green is a frustrating person to fight because he's so in and out. He's like, he's got the hands low, but he's still really hard to touch, Mike. He's hard to find with his movement and everything like that. I think he's going to frustrate Jeremy Stevens, who's not very good. And I told you guys in the last fight, and we did not just bet Bobby Green at those odds of plus, but we picked them. We bet them. We picked them. I told you guys, Bobby Green, Daniel Zellhuber, fraud. And now look at this line. It's crazy how things just like flip on their head. And now Bobby Green is like big ass favorite. But I honestly think it's warranted because I think he's just too much of a tough find for Jeremy Stephens. And at some point, Stephens is just going to get mad because he's not finding Bobby Green, and Bobby Green is consistently finding his chin with just like touching him. You know what I mean? Because that's what Bobby likes to do. He likes to touch, get you frustrated, and then maybe you get a little over aggressive and he comes to try and finish you. But yeah, I think it's Bobby Green all day. The question is, does he get it done for DFS? That I don't know. I mean, 9,200.
That requires takedowns,
and he did get takedowns in his last fight, Mike. I mean, Bobby Green's a little older too.
He's wise.
King Green, whatever.
You can't trust Bobby Green, King Green, at all, ever. And
what's a takedown line for Bobby Green?
I have it pulled up. It is 1.5 takedowns. And what do you think is the over or the under juiced to? It's the juice to the under. I think a plus 150 on the over 1.5.
Oh, it's a 1.5. Okay.
Yeah,
I was wondering what it was.
But here's Stephens' takedown. It's shit. This guy in Bellator,
if Bobby Green
MMA,
wants to wrestle, he will have success. I believe that.
How do you not? 8 times last time, Mason Jones. This is not Mason Jones, but even before he was in the UFC in the 20s, 2021, I mean, he was taken down. Of course, he's getting finished, so that's worrisome for a takedown line. But
so you're telling me I should bet Bobby Green by sub?
So I've heard that take elsewhere.
Is that what you're saying?
It's a ridiculous number.
I'm sure it is. That's why I said it. There's no way.
8-1. I mean, you might as well just make the same.
It's 8-1. That's not even as ridiculous as I was thinking. Honestly, that tells me it's way more live than what I think in my head.
I think
even the odds makers think it's more. That honestly, that helps the takedown line in my head.
That's what I was going to say. You might as well just make a same game parlay with Bobby Green takedown and sub. Honestly, a takedown KO would be a wild one too. But that now we're really splitting hairs. Okay, do you at least understand though that the volatility is in Bobby Green, King Green here? Like if he fights dumb, like he could lose any fight that he's in. That's the problem. I don't know. I can't. I understand nobody wants to play, but there is buyback. Look at this. Look at the line movement.
Chat saying they could see Bobby Green go for takedowns. They could see Bobby Green optimal. I mean, I don't hate it. I'm fading, or I'm lower on enough fighters in that 9K range. Like I'm going to be Bobby Green right now is projecting for 15%. I don't know why you wouldn't be at least field level on that. You could go over, but at least 15%. I'm definitely not fading Bobby Green. Like I'm going to fade 1 or 2 guys in this 9K range. Bobby Green's not going to be one of them. But am I like slamming them? Am I going 3 times the field? I don't think I'm going to do that.
Yeah. No, I don't think you have to get crazy on this fight at all because I think it's predictable in the striking realm of things. And depends.
Yeah, like I think Corey's saying I think King Green puts up 100+. I'm not convinced Stephens is going to hang. I'm not really convinced either. I think Stephens is going to get really frustrated in this fight.
If the UFC wanted to slip a little Benjamins to Mr. King Green, they could silence Stephens pretty quick. Did you hear what Stephens was saying in interviews? Like, bonus system sucks in the UFC. He was basically talking shit about the UFC to their faces, essentially, in the
also
UFC.
Missed weight like a donkey. Like egregious.
Like that helps. That doesn't help him.
No, but I'm saying like it was like egregious. Like, come on.
Yeah. Well, King Green is also happy with that money that's going his way. But yeah, I understand that I'm on an island, but I also look at this as a card that I really struggle with underdogs. And it's like, do I really want to play Jim Miller at elevated ownership? I think over Stephens? No. Do I want to play Gomes, who could be on his back all the time? No. Kopylov, you and I like, but I think that's a little bit a tier above. Strickland is going to suck all the ownership up down here. So I'm stuck with, okay, I'm never going to play DeJourn or Aussie. So I feel like it's just an organic play for building lineups. That's more so where my brain comes into play. I know I think a little bit differently than people, but it's like at 10 to 15% owned for Stevens with upside of potentially catching green.
Yeah, he's gonna be
He could.
6%. It's gonna be 6%.
I
Uh,
mean, I don't hate it.
the
And the money
weight,
movement continues.
the weight miss was definitely on purpose. You know,
Oh, yeah.
guys that miss like a pound or a half a pound, like Mike, you know this too, but like those are the hardest things when guys are drained like that and they're missing by a half pound or a pound or something like that. That's telling you like, okay, they went to pretty much their max, because always that last little bit is the hardest to cut. But when they're missing like 4, 5 pounds over, that's telling you probably they didn't even like really get to a point where they were like absolutely drained, because he didn't look drained at all.
Yeah, and look at the betting line just following it too. May 7th, so 2 days ago, minus 375, and then it's just straight down. Like after the weight miss, it's like an extra 50 to 75 points, right on green. So people think that that's that, but yeah, that's a purpose weight miss if I've ever seen one. Next fight up, I think, is the binary fight of the year. You have Sean Brady versus Joaquin Buckley. We have Sean Brady as a minus 180 favorite on DraftKings Sportsbook. Buckley a plus 150. Best price on market, DraftKings Sportsbook, for that line. I want to throw it to you right away. I usually give my little rundowns, but silver platter. It's a beautiful fight. It's a fun fight. What do you think?
Yeah, Sean Brady didn't love. He was kind of out there making excuses for his last fight. I didn't know if the fight was going to go. It was late in the day before, and they were still waiting to clear me. Whatever he was saying about it. Obviously he got starched by Morales. Morales is legit very good though. I think Buckley's very good. Definitely different guys though. You know what I mean? Joaquin Buckley is someone that we've seen have issues with the takedowns at time. Usman got him down. I think Brady can also do similar things, but the one difference with Sean Brady is, remember, wrestling and grappling, two different things, right, Mike? In his grappling is very, very elite. You know, if he can get to the grappling, he's going to give a lot of people in this weight class issues. You know what I mean? The key is getting there. He obviously got starched before he could even get to the grappling last time out. Does Joaquin Buckley come out here and just do the same thing to Sean Brady? I don't think so. And the line is kind of definitely respecting Sean Brady and his, you know, advantage, I would say, on the ground. So is Joaquin Buckley tough to hold down at times because he's so explosive? Yes. But if you have really good grappling, which Sean Brady does, when Joaquin Buckley just not as technical, just tries to explode up, that's when good grapplers can catch guys with submissions and stuff like that. Sometimes there's a reason why, you know, guys who have good grappling or have a ton of control time don't find finishes. And a lot of times it's due to their opponents maybe just trying to stay safe. I think you can make that case in the Chimaev-Dricus fight, where Dricus, I mean, think about how much time was spent just flat on his back, or with Hamza holding him, you know, on holding his back, and he's down on one knee and up on one foot, and he's just sitting there, and Hamza's just kneeing him in the butt, but he doesn't want to make a mistake and get caught in something, right? I think Joaquin Buckley could make a mistake in one of these explosions, and it could cost them here. So I'm on the Sean side. And I don't hate the submission bet for Sean Brady here. Obviously a tough matchup, but you know, he found Leon Edwards. I think he could do something similar to Buckley here, but for DFS, I think it's a good fight to target here. Sean Brady obviously got starched last time out, so maybe Buckley can do the same thing to him.
Yeah, in that line, that double jeopardy line that we like to play, minus 105, Buckley by KO, Brady by submission.
Buckley's not wrestling.
But I think you don't fall for that line I just said. I think you go towards the totals in that fight or the decision, because decision is minus 105. So you're covering a little bit more if you're going on the under. What's the under? Like minus 125 or something like that.
Yeah.
That's the way to cover it.
Under covers like obviously everything outside
Fluky.
of the
fluky type shit. But
Yeah.
I mean, 105 is the, I don't care about 20 cents. I'd rather
I don't
cover.
hate like the under's a good call though, because then you have, if Buckley does catch Brady coming in and finishes them or something like that, and then you got like the fluky other things that can happen. So I don't hate that. That's a good call. I like the under too.
Oh yeah. I mean, Sean Bradley knockout getting just top position too. Like how many times have we seen this like elbow? That's what covers that. And honestly, 72% takedown defense for Buckley is surprisingly good. I figured it would be closer to 50 than not.
He's freakishly strong and athletic.
Oh yeah. I mean, I almost look like the Usman loss is a good thing for him, because I think he needs to hit that extra stage of like, where can I develop my skill set? But then you look at like who he was beating before. I mean, come on, old man Covington, old man Thompson. Like he's had a pretty good cupcake. I guess the Luke one ages pretty well.
The Ruzaboyev one where he was wrestling for his life was kind of funny. He was wrestling for his life in that fight.
Where is Ruzaboyev? What a great call, dude. Where the fuck is that guy?
I don't know.
Wow, look at his 2 wins, McConaughey and Stoltzfus. You think they would have given him another bum to get him a paycheck by now? Maybe he's cut. I don't even know. But yeah, definitely a fight I'm gonna be wanting to target. Fantasy wise, I'm looking at ownership for these two guys being super owned. Buckley only 20%. Oh, I'm surprised. And Brady 20%. Do we think it's because there could be stallability with the Brady wrestling?
Yes, I think people respect Joaquin Buckley's defense, and I think Sean Brady coming off the knockout. I think everyone's being a little cautious that maybe Brady fights a little more tentatively in this matchup against someone with decent defense as Joaquin Buckley, which could stall the fight out for sure, right, Mike? Like that is a very real possibility.
Here's the reason to play it though: plus 250 and a plus 225. That's about what? Talking 25% chance to finish for these guys. I'm just doing rough math because plus 200 is 33%. You might want to target these guys for their finish equity, because that correlates with the ownership being what, 20% each. You're right at the field, right? Match the field. Important fight if it finishes, I believe. Now the next fight of the night, we have Alexander Volkov versus Waldo Cortez Acosta. Best line on market. Alexander Volkov minus 130 on DraftKings Sportsbook. Pretty nice tag. Waldo, I mean, people are selling on Waldo now. It's been everybody's favorite guy here, plus 110. A guy who now had been knocking people out since he was a decision guy. The weird fight there where he started being a goddamn pirate after that. Gautier, who we saw was super durable last week. Remember? I mean, this guy took a beating. What did I say there? I was like, oh, that Pro 6 by decision. And I'm like, Gautier could hang in there. He hung in there until it just didn't. There was nothing left. Then we get Derek Lewis. What a weird one. I rewatched that. Did you see the finish of that? I was like a weird jabby 1-2 and he went down. So Waldo sneaky getting some power. I looked at him as more of a volume striker, a boxer with volume in the heavyweight division, but I think he's developing that power. He's always had it. He just hasn't sat down on it. But how the hell is he going to find that chin of Volkov? Do you know? Do you have, I mean, we're both short guys here, but like, is he going to be punching up? Is he going to be punching at the belly button?
He does have that big overhand that he throws with big power. So I think he's going to be trying to land that thing, which I will say Waldo, and I've been on Waldo for a lot of these fights. Outside the Derek Lewis fight, I took a shot on Derek Lewis as a dog, but the other 2 fights before it was kind of popular, I was on him by finish, and he does have that type of power where like I feel like he can put anyone out. But Volkov is one of those fighters. He's a lot tougher to find, right, Mike? Because like you said, he's so tall. He uses kicks really well. and he fights smart. Like that's the thing with Volkov. Actually, both these fighters, I think, are very smart fighters here, and I do think for DFS purposes, this could end up being a very boring fight, where they both know that they're close, right, to getting that next title shot, and they need to win, and maybe it's a thing where they're fighting a little safer. Waldo's coming off 3 knockouts in a row. Volkov knows this. Who knows? Maybe one of these guys tries to wrestle. Maybe both of these guys try to wrestle. You know what I mean? So take some sting off the shots, especially like if you were doing it to Waldo, because he does have big ass power. So
see this line?
I could see this fight stalling big time here.
I know they don't offer it on DraftKings Sportsbook.
I also can't bet this fight in Massachusetts, so it's
I
kind
just
of
saw that. I was trying to pull it up. I'm like, I want to slice this fight up a little bit and see on my prop market. And I'm like, where is it?
If I could bet takedowns, I would be betting takedowns in this fight.
Okay, well, do you see what I pulled up on screen here for us? Cortez takedown over 1 point. We don't have it in mass. What the fuck?
I told you we can't bet this fight in mass. So
I know I'm looking and I'm scrolling. I can't find it.
Bet the Russian fighters for some reason. Dumbest rule ever.
Most takedowns on the offshore book here, open at -115, is down to -325.
Yeah.
I mean, the cool thing about betting Waldo at the +250 is that you have the push as covered as well. You'll just get the even if they both get takedowns, or if they don't, then you're covered. But that seems like a good line if you have that, right? +250 Waldo takedowns.
Yeah, Volk's plus or over 1, I think, plus money. Yeah, those are good bets. I mean, I feel like for the DFS upside, I don't know if you'd agree with me, but Waldo is probably the play at 7,600.
You can't really play Volkov unless you think he's going to finish him. I mean, even a finish, you have to be first round. Volkov is priced, what, 80? It's refreshing for 1 sec. It's way more playability in Waldo. And I even am worried. Waldo win could be 50 to 65 points.
Yeah, I'm worried about this fight too. So I'm going to have very little of it. But if I do have anything, it would be the dog in DFS. And both these guys are coming in. Waldo's coming in at like 25%, which honestly, it's kind of higher than I thought. But
I could see him lower. I could see it a little.
I think it will be lower, and Volkov 10% is like exactly what I would think. So,
yep, 8,600. I got it just south of 10%. So agree with you there. But we go from that bummer, I guess, to a absolute banger of a fight. When this thing was scheduled for weeks ago, I was so thrilled to break it down. But now we've got Tyra as the favorite, -155, versus the new champion, Joshua Van. We have Van as a +130 underdog as the standing championship. Flyweights, we love targeting flyweights. Everyone's favorite underdog has to be Josh Van on this slate, does it not? I mean, he has to garner probably 40 to 50%, probably north of 40, right? It's got to be closer to 50 than not. You probably have 5 rounds to work with, unless Tyra's getting that backpack and getting them out of there early while they're dry. But why are we selling on Josh Van at this stage for the betting line?
Yeah, so one of my favorite bets, probably of the week or weekend or day, whatever you want to call it, is Joshua Van here at just +130. Tyra was, I think, -170 a couple days ago. So the line is definitely moving, I think, a little bit in Joshua Van's favor, if I remember correctly, which makes sense to me. I think Joshua Van should be the favorite, but also you got to remember, these heavy grappler style wrestlers, they always lean these type of guys here. And, if this fight is striking, this Joshua Van is -250 against this guy in just a straight striking matchup here. Yeah. If Tyra gets his back, Joshua Van, I think he's pretty calm and cool. I don't think he'll panic. I don't think he'll make mistakes, but Tyra would obviously, have a lot of good, opportunities to finish if he did backpack him. But that's going to be tough. Joshua Van's low to the ground. He's got good takedown defense. He's always moving forward too. He's got that high guard, which I think is going to be tough for Tyra to figure out. Remember, Brandon Royval and Tyra had that banger of a fight where it was back and forth. Like Tyra got Brandon Royval down like 1 or 2 rounds, but Brandon Royval was like trying to counter wrestle and grapple Tyra, which I thought was like a horrible game plan, even though he did have chances. Like at the very end, he had that like neck crank, but it looked like at one point his arm might have been under the chin, but I guess it wasn't. But like he went for like leg locks and stuff you're probably not going to get Tyra with. And Joshua Van, he's not going to do that, right, Mike? He's going to defend takedowns to get back to space, which is what you want to do against Tyra. Because in the 3rd round of that Royval-Tyra fight, Royval had Tyra really, really hurt on the feet. He was really hurt. And I think he could have finished Tyra because he had enough time. There was like, I want to say like a minute 15 left on the clock in the 3rd round. And Tyra was backing up. He was really hurt. And Royval just started grappling for no reason. And I'm like, what are we doing? And then somehow Tyra reverses the position and ends up grabbing his back or something like that. And I'm like, this is why you don't do this with these high-level grapplers, because even if they're 90% almost knocked out, Mike, if they can grab a limb, they can find a way to like get in a good position somehow, even that messed up and hurt. And if they just stood, literally, if he was just like, nope, I'm not engaging, and just stood up and made Tyra stand up, I think he could have finished him there. That's the stuff Joshua Van won't do. He won't be doing that stuff. If he has Tyra hurt, he's not going to be foolish and go to the ground with him or anything like that. He's going to make this dude stand and fight. And I think he's going to keep it standing. And where if it's standing, I got Joshua Van all day here. And that's what I think happens. Tyra is not Pantoja. I know it was fluky that Joshua Van beat Pantoja, but I don't think Tyra beats Pantoja. And I don't think I think he's just a step below Pantoja. Pantoja would give him problems too, because Tyra doesn't like the pressure. That's why Tyra lost the fight to Royval. Royval just kept, even when he was hurt, he just kept moving forward, and his hands were low, Mike, right? Like Royval's hands were like kind of low, and he's just throwing them out of there. Joshua Van's going to come in with like slick combinations, in and out, in your face. It's going to be like way cleaner. Royval's like he fights dirty. You know what I mean? But the pressure is going to be there. So I think it's an even tougher fight for someone like Tyra.
A few things. This 8.84 significant strikes per minute doesn't seem sustainable, but holy shit, does it actually seem like it could be a legit situation for Van? Because that might be his defense, right? That's my point of the takedown. His defense is throwing strikes. Just throw, keep Tyra off of him. Tyra's frame.
It's the forward pressure. It's hard to shoot when you're moving when the fighter is constantly moving forward. It makes it hard for the wrestler to shoot.
And Tyra's frame for the division is pretty big. He's tall, he's big, yeah. He's lanky. So a guy like that, even though he's got the grappling and he's got the jiu-jitsu in his back pocket, he should be striking into his takedowns. But look at his striking. We're talking about almost 3 significant strikes out there, absorbing 2.5. That's essentially saying he's not very competitive when it's on the feet. So night and day, you're in the same boat as me. I like Van. I like Van a lot. I hate it because now we have like a 50% owned underdog, but I think it's a good play. I mean,
it is what it is.
Right? We're dealt with. I mean, you're going to kill off some Tyra ownership for sure.
And these dogs on these main events have been paying. If you've just been blindly betting dogs, like you in these main event fights, Mike, you have to be like coming out so flush through the start of this year, 2026. I mean,
Oh, absolutely.
underdogs have been just killing it, and we've been on a ton of underdogs this year. I mean, Moicano, a lot of underdogs that we've been on this show here, but
Look at I don't talk about other sites that I don't trust and stuff, but that number is wild. Minus 138 Van most significant strikes out there somewhere. Don't even want to say the name of the
wow. I
site.
mean, you better get
Yeah.
Tyra. Tyra doesn't throw. Even when he like has you down flat on your back, like he really doesn't. He hunts submissions. You know what I mean? He's trying to find
I really like Van this price tag on DraftKings plus 275 inside the distance is the best on market, man. And it's basically because I look at it as I think Tyra might sell out for the finish. He, like you said, the Royval fight, it mirrors the Royval in a very small way because Royval has the grappling in his back pocket, I think a little more than Van. But
I think
why
that
we
I honestly think though the grappling that Royval had was honestly to his detriment because I think it ruined some chances for him to stay on the feet and find more success and build on a finish. And that's what Joshua Van does, right? He builds as the fight goes on. So, you know, he's just going to get better, I think, as the fight goes. And Tyra's striking is going to get a little worse and a little worse. And Joshua Van's going to find more and more openings as this fight goes on. So, yeah, I'm with you. I mean, I like him. I think he can find a finish for sure, as long as he's just smart and doesn't you know, doesn't even try to grapple with this dude or counter wrestle or anything, which I don't think he will do. So
I'm going to give you something very, very, very silly because of the grappling, because of the way that Tyra could win rounds, but it's based on the finish as a whole, and I think that Van can finish Tyra. So the same side as you. Why not ladder the fucking spread? Minus 5.5. So I'm saying reverse spread because he's an underdog. You're going to get a great price tag. So
right.
if you get Josh Van minus 5.5 is plus 185. That's winning by 1 round. And because it's a 5-round fight, you just need Tyra could win any round and you still win that bet. Minus 9.5 is plus 215 and then minus 13.5. These numbers sound silly, but basically you're covering yourself for him to win multiple rounds. You're giving yourself a ceiling. When he finishes, you got the plus 240 in your back pocket. He can win rounds when Tyra grapples as well. That's my point. And I think the rounds could be close, but you're still covering a very big price tag for a guy who I think should be favored, right? Like I can you and I agree that Van should probably be minus 150? I mean, I don't know. I think it's a little aggressive. Maybe 125 even. He should be the favorite.
Yep.
That's a way that you can slice up a pie when you're looking at a guy that you perceive to be the favorite. You're getting a lot of different permutations, I guess you could say, of how that could win. And that's a ladder I'll be hitting for sure. So I like that plus 136 as well, just like you. And I'm not as crazy on those significant strikes as other people are saying in chat. Oh, let me get this over 80 because he's a guy where he is a volume striker. But if Tyra's caught by something, it could be move fighter and he's got to 40 significant strikes, 50, and that, you know, over 76 that's out there on prize picks and all these underdogs. That's a trappy line.
Yeah, it could be.
Not to mention Tyra could finish on the mat when they're dry too. So you're just dead. So definitely one that I'm more on Josh Van, but I'm just worried about the significant strikes because it could just be a finish either way. Amazing fight to target. Tyra, I expect to be, where do you have him coming in? I have him at 45%. So basically,
Yeah, I got him about 45 too.
the whole fight is 95%. And I would argue just to walk the fight because it's such an amazing fight. It could headline any other card. But we have a headliner with Khamzat Chimaev versus Sean Strickland. It's like, come on, man. Minus 500 DraftKings Sportsbook, Chimaev. Strickland a plus 380. Sports books are gonna love this fight, are they not? The emotional bettors
Yep.
are just like, give me some Sean Strickland. He's back. Okay, he beat Fluffy. Did you have that? Because I got to tee you up a little, man. It was like I was like, oh, Hernandez is gonna roll him. He's got bad knees now. Strickland, the motorcycle accident. He hasn't faced a wrestler. Well, that little Strickland, iCarly jab he has out there works perfect in a lot of fights. Don't think it's
Yeah.
gonna work against Chimaev.
Yeah, I did have Strickland. I picked him. I bet
Amazing
him
call.
inside the distance, winner, plus 1,000 inside the distance. You won't find many people who actually picked and bet. I mean, a lot of people
Nope.
probably bet Strickland because
They'll
whenever
say
they
it.
see, but picking and betting him at the same time is two different things, which we try to do with long shots, on this show. Not going to get them all right, but Strickland was one of those guys. I said he's got the tools to beat Anthony Hernandez. Now, Anthony Hernandez and Chimaev, I think, are two different animals, right? So we've got to make sure we say that they are different, very, very different, in my opinion. Chimaev's wrestling is insane. And you don't have to look any further than the Kamaru Usman fight. If you like, just to show, because Kamaru Usman, I know he's old, it was short, all that stuff and everything like that. Still, to do what he did to Kamaru, even though he got tired, was very impressive. That just shows you how high level this guy is on the mat. He's going to shoot a takedown, I would say, instantly. Within the first 15 seconds of the fight, you'll see him, go back and forth for about 10 seconds. He might throw one punch and he's going to shoot. And he's
Here it
going
is.
to turn.
Do you see this? This is a legitimate betting line that is out there. I don't know where it stands now. This was
unless
posted yesterday.
Hamza is taking money for the over. He is going to shoot under 18 seconds. I will say that.
I saw it posted on Underdog at 16 and a half seconds. So it had to have gotten bet down on offshore. So then Underdog put the under 16 and a half.
So here's my take on the missing weight thing, all this stuff. He didn't make weight. He was probably a little off. That was the quickest I've ever seen a reading on the scale, because normally you got to let it settle, right, Mike? Like if anyone stepped on a scale, you let it settle for a second or two, and then they'll kind of like give you the okay, and then they'll stand there on the scale for a second, take a picture. What did Hamza do? He stepped right off, and then they were like, no, get back on, right? It was just all very odd, because all fighters know it. It's not Hamza's first time ever weighing in. He knows you stand on the scale. They tell you you're good, then you stand on the scale and nope, Hamza steps right off. They tell him to get back on. He didn't make weight. He was cutting, and Armin actually confirmed this before the whole weigh-in show and weight cut and everything the day before, that apparently, and I don't know if this is 100% true, but if Armin's saying it, I don't know why he wouldn't say it if it wasn't true. Chimaev was cutting almost 46 pounds, Mike, Armin said. 46. So there's two things with this. One, if he's cutting 46 pounds, it totally makes sense. And you saw how drained he was, right? He was trying to cut weight. So it was probably a scenario where he was a pound, maybe a half a pound off. He was right there, probably. I don't know, because he did look very drained. He also looked very angry. I've never seen a guy look so angry pre and post weight where he makes the weight. Like normally, Mike, when a guy is drained but you make weight, there's like a sigh of relief that comes to you. You know what I mean? Because you work so hard to like make weight, your body is so drained, and then you're like, then you have that like, thank you, Jesus, or whoever you pray to, like, thank you, okay? And Hamza didn't have that. He didn't. He stepped right off right when he said it, and I was like, well, that's weird. Why'd he step off? They put him back on. He still looks angry. Why does he still look angry? So that told me that the whole situation, I don't think it's, some people were saying like the UFC hates Sean Strickland, so they're out to get him. I don't think that's what it is. I just think they don't want to taint the card that's an absolute banger with the fight that is headlining the card with Hamza loses the belt regardless of the win, which is what would happen, right, Mike? Because Hamza had 15 minutes to step on that scale before they just strip him of the belt, because that's the rules. There's a certain amount of time that you have to weigh in, and if you don't weigh in by that time, you automatically get stripped. And remember, for championship weight, you have to hit the number. You can't be a pound over, right, Mike? Championship weight, you got to hit the weight, right?
No half allowance. None of that bullshit.
Shout out to Charles Oliveira. We all know what happened to him, right? Like, it happens. So, yeah, I know that there's going to be people that fight hard for the Hamza. Oh, he made weight, clearly. Look at this picture. Oh, there's all these pictures on Twitter. We don't know what the fuck that says anyways. A picture of, one says 185. Who the hell knows? No way he was 185. I just don't believe it. It is what it is. I don't care, but it is what it is.
You see when he got back on the scale, the thing went straight up.
Yeah.
Like that was the most telling. It wasn't necessarily that hole was a shit show. That was absolutely terrible what they did right away. 185 and then got off. It's when you get in and it went straight up.
Don't ask me don't ask me about something like that, and then I will not. Obviously, I'm going to go on a long rant about something like that. I was trying not to bring it up, Mike, because I knew I was going to end up going on a rant.
I was just enjoying chat talking about you there for like 20 minutes, but regardless, I'm telling you, man, it's a Boston thing. You and I can talk for fucking days.
It wasn't 30 minutes, Steve. It was like 6. Okay?
Can you imagine Steve like not knowing the show was going to be early?
Steve
comes
knows.
in
No,
and it's
Steve
like, oh man, no. Here's the thing. I pulled up the line. It's absolutely comical. I'm like, what a trappy line. Here's the problem, by the way. If you're betting this and like really putting money behind it, what defines a takedown? That there going to be subjectivity within this bet. Don't no, seriously, think about it. Because if underdog is going to have to grade that bet, which is 16.5 last time I saw it, and I would probably take the under, are they going to grade it if he gets the body lock and he holds him down and Strickland doesn't, stay down for the takedown? Let's not get into that. I think you're going to see a Chimaev. Like, what do you think his scoring is? Because it's over under on DraftKings Sportsbook is 4.5 takedowns. Obviously, we think he's an elite scorer.
What? 4.5?
Yeah, and it's over 160.
6.5? What are you talking about?
His takedown line is over 4.5.
Oh my God, guys, that's a stone cold lock. 4.5? He might get that in round. He might get that in round 1.
Oh yeah, that's true. But
legitimately might get that in round 1. 4.5. I mean,
I'm more worried
you're fading a round 1. Serious note. You're fading a round 1 finish because Sean Strickland is not Dricus. Okay, like Sean Strickland is going to get back up. He's going to try and get back up. And what happens when fighters are fresh, Mike, and they try and get back up? What happens to them? They probably go back down with good wrestlers. So they probably get taken down, pop back up,
something
down.
Like this, huh? Something like the first round of Duplessis.
Exactly. And that's Dricus doing that. So imagine what Hamza can do to it. Everyone's saying too, like Dricus, oh, he's got good wrestling and good grappling, and Hamza just dominated him. Yeah, but Dricus laid flat on his back for 2 rounds, almost 2 rounds full. Sean's not going to do that. He's not going to just sit there lame duck. He's going to try to get up. He's not going to try and grapple or wrestle. He's going to try and just get back to the fence and get back, build his way back up, which is just going to bring him back down.
Dude, this is hilarious. So DraftKings has the 4.5 takedown line minus 160. And then the first leg of the like ladder thing, they don't even have 5. They well, that is the 5. The 6 is -115.
So this is the take right here, right? JSU, when he gets the takedowns, he controls for a long time. Yes, he does. Hamza is very good. He's got
He doesn't mind letting people get back up.
Yeah, because he wants to wrestle. Okay, he's not the jujitsu, like he has it, but he's not like the jujitsu. He's a wrestler first, so he has no problem with letting the guy get back to his knees and then pulling him back down. But I was listening to a clip of Islam Makhachev, and it's just very interesting. Islam, who knows one of the main training partners that Sean trained with to get ready for the wrestling. And I forget the guy's name, but he asked the guy, he said, how's Sean looking? You taking him down? He goes, brother, I take him down easy, but he gets up. He is one of the best at getting back up. So I take him down, yes, but he can pop back up, and he will pop back up. So the question is, can he pop back up enough to where Hamza just gets tired from having to take him back down and put him back down, and he pops back up and he puts him back down? Or, does Hamza not get tired? And if he doesn't get tired, he's going to have like 20 takedowns here. So my take is bet Hamza over on takedowns. The fight is I think the fight extends, and if Hamza wins, he's going to score a bazillion DraftKings points again, regardless. So I don't know how you don't lock the 2 main event fights. They're locks.
Mortal locks this particular slate. And yeah, I don't know what ownership is going to be like on Strickland, but I think
it's going to be like 15%, 20%.
Thank you very much for paying for Rake.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think if you wanna take a shot on Strickland, forget about DFS. Just take like a round 4, round 5 finish or something like that.
Oh, and I think you can.
Hamza's gonna win the first 3 rounds.
You can put pennies on that and still make a quarter of a house. Like, yeah. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to get crazy and be like, oh yeah, this is a full unit. No. You can sprinkle and still cover that outcome.
Absolutely.
And let's do you think this is a finish though? That's what it comes down to. Chimaev.
I mean, everyone feels like everyone I've talked to thinks there's a finish and thinks the finish is early. And I think if there's a finish, it's late. It's not the first 2 rounds, which I think that's kind of what the odds are showing, is Hamza finishes them probably in the first 2 rounds by sub. And I think if there's a finish, it's later. But I could see it going to the cards. Like, Sean's not just going to quit. Like, he's going to try, even if he's just getting ragdolled, which could happen.
Nina drama in the first row. Let's go, Sean! Let's go, Sean!
This is an mortal lock. Whatever the line is, just...
Do you see what his average fantasy points are? It was like 120 something.
Pull up the pick 6, because I got to get out of here in a sec, but let's pull up.
I know you got to get out. Are you gonna? Yeah, I was gonna say, can you pull it up for me? And mine's fucking glitched out. So
I got
it. I agree. We were talking in the first fight, I think, about the significant strikes. Who were talking? DeJorn. We were talking DeJorn as our first look.
So pick 6 here. All right. Significant strikes. We liked Santos for sure, right?
Yep. Okay. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Okay. Anyone else you see for significant strikes, or I can move it to a different category? Do you like anyone? Do you see anyone else you like a Tyra under?
I'm trying to speed it up for you. Go to fantasy points. Let's see if we can hit something. Sabatini's line is, I want to go over on the significance at 18.5, but he just doesn't throw. He might just hold him.
Throw. Chimaev over on fantasy points.
Wow, you actually want to take the over?
Dude, he's in my head, he's gonna get 1,000,000 takedowns in this fight. Just the way I see the fight going.
Yeah. Holy shit, we're taking it over against the mortal
I know I
you.
never do this. I never do this.
This is a slate too. We could probably take a knockout. Atiba, we're okay. So what about you can't take the stack, right? You can't take Susurkaev under his fantasy points. Damn it.
Yeah, I can.
Oh,
You want? I'm cool. I like that.
that correlates. That's a
Yeah, yeah,
beautiful
yeah.
correlation. Tyra under, are we getting too aggressive?
Tyra under or Van? Oh, I think we go Van over and Tyra under on strikes. What do you think about that?
I don't like the. I think that Van could finish him before
Okay.
85 strikes, just in case,
Well, no. Tyra under on strikes.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It's 44.5.
The problem for Tyra is that he's got the distance. So even if he's throwing a jab, I don't know if they're going to be calling it significant enough. He's got like a 5-inch reach advantage. He's got the frame that he can strike from distance. That's why I'm going to give you a play that you and I are both liking. Ochoa over 70.5 fantasy points.
Oh,
If we don't have that in
language.
we're doing things wrong if we don't have that play, because on paper, that should be what, 85 points expected.
Dude, by the way, I just realized this, but in the Royval fight, Tyra only had 42 significant strikes. In the Royval fight, where they struck for a lot.
Yeah.
That's crazy. All right.
I think he was tired as well.
You just said it was Ochoa, right?
Ochoa over 70.5.
Let's do it. Okay, I think we've got our 6 right here, Mike. So let's just read it out real quick for the people.
Beautiful.
And then I'll post, I know Binair was asking for a parlay because they got the 50% boost. I'll post some in the chat. I got my nephew's christening I'm going to run to at 11. And then after that, I'll post the parlays that I put in the parlay pieces chat. But here's the pick 6 for the people here. It's Santos over on significant strikes, 28.5. Chimaev over on fantasy points, 111.5. Susurkaev under on fantasy points, 102.5. Joshua Van over on fantasy points, 77.5. Tatsuro Tyra under on significant strikes at 44.5. And Jose Ochoa over on fantasy points at 70.5 fantasy points here. And we got a 30% boost, Mike. Let's see. I got $50 max with a 30%er right there. I mean,
beautiful.
50 to win 1150. Say yeah.
All right, and I'll say my bets real quick because I know you got to get out of here. You and I both like Van very much. I like that money line. I told you how you can split the hairs up, kind of make it like the ladder of the reverse money. Spread for minus whatever. Starts 5.5. Go crazy on that because that could look really, really good. Ochoa plus a knockdown is probably going to be plus money on a same game parlay. That would be a really nice one. Kopylov, I like Kopylov, plus 154 on DraftKings Sportsbook at the moment. That's about it for what I really, really like.
I will just say this: Joshua Van will be one of my biggest bets. Jose Ochoa inside the distance, another bet I'm going to be high on, and then Chimaev over on takedowns. Mike said 4.5's the line. We're going
4.5 minus 160 and 6 takedowns minus 115.
Yeah, and it might be something where I even ladder the takedowns. And then you could do fun things with parlays. Like you could do like a takedown line over, and then maybe get Sean by knockout and reverse correlate it just in case like he gets a late knockout or something. And you can get like massive odds for something like that. But those are definitely the 3 bets that I am the highest on. And then for a long shot dog, my favorite one is probably Santos with the plus 500 just money line. So those are the bets here. That's going to do it for this show. Sorry we got out of there a little abruptly, but we'll be back next week. If you want more of the content, Playoffs 26, get over to runpuresports.com right now. We got tons of new stuff. We got new hubs popping up. The WNBA package went live yesterday, and there's a ton of people interested in. We got projections for that. Crepus and Rubio heading up the WNBA product over there. Rubio just finished up the WNBA hub yesterday and got it out for the people. And it's only going to get better as the season goes on. So make sure you guys check that out if you're in to the WNBA. MLB is still going on. We just had another member hit for a live final seat in baseball. So tons of good stuff going on at runpuresports.com. Check it out. Playoffs 26% off. And hit the like button on your way out. We appreciate all the likes. We need all the likes. Hit that thumbs up. For Mike, I'm John. We'll see you guys next Saturday. Have fun watching the fights, and good luck in your DraftKings, DFS, and sports betting on DK Sportsbook. We'll see you guys later. We're out. Peace.